Hi. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do time cards. For every person in this class, you're going to have to do a time card. This will tell me what hours you worked, not the ones you were scheduled for, but the ones you actually worked and how much money you made, and if you're making your credit by making your hours and all that kind of good stuff. This is information I have to turn into the state, so it is most important that it's correct. So you're going to go to classwork, and every month you're going to have an assignment that's called monthly time card. It is the same spreadsheet throughout the whole semester, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But click on monthly time card, and you can go in and you can view instructions. Now, up here at the top, it's going to tell you that if you get out for work-based learning one block, you have to work at least 7.5 hours. You can work more, but you have to work at least. If you get out 2 blocks, you have to work at least 15 hours. If you work 3 blocks, you have to work at least 22.5 hours. Okay, so some weeks you may not make it, but the next week you may make a little bit more. It will all even out in the end. Do not pay attention to these dates right now because these dates are on another year, possibly. But just know that it will be due 5 days after our monthly meeting every month. Okay, so how it is graded. If you have negative monthly hours, you must tell me why you have negative hours, and I'll explain that at the end. And if you'll also get 5 points if the information is not at the top. Then every error in your times will count one time the first month. The second month, if you didn't fix it from the prior month before, it'll be 2 points off. The next month, if you didn't fix it from the prior months before, it'll be 3 points off, etc., 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 as you can see. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to open up the WBL time card, and you're going to start working on this one. I'm going to make a copy of it. You are not going to make a copy of it, but I'm going to make a copy of it so that your template is not wrong. So I'm making a copy of it. You do not. You will just start working on the one that you're working on. But I'm getting rid of that one because that was the one you would have. All right, so the very first thing you do is you're going to go ahead and go up here and type your name in the green area. So go ahead and type your name. I'm typing my name because my name is Jenny Pitts. The year I'm graduating, I'm going to say I graduate in 2025. So we're going to go with 2025, and that's when I'm going to work. These two green areas right here, we're not going to worry about right now because right now we'll do that another later month in the month, and we'll do it as a class. You only thing that you're going to be looking at over here on this first tab is what your pay is. So I have it starting in June 1st. So in June 1st, I made $7.25 an hour. If I get a pay raise, I would come back in here and I'd put the pay raise here. So if I get a pay raise, we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll put the next one here. So if you make more than $7.25 an hour, you need to put how much you make an hour. I'm going to pretend like I'm making $10 an hour. So I put in $10 an hour. So therefore I am now, as of June 1st, making $10 an hour. Everybody understand? This down here is how many hours you have to have first semester if you are in one block. How many hours you have to have if you're 2 blocks. You have to have 169 hours. And first semester you have to have 301. Second semester you have 131, 174, and 305. So know these numbers in just a minute. I'm going to pretend like I only get out one block. So I am going to do the 125. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start. Everybody's going to start in the month of August. So everybody click on down here at the bottom, the different tabs. It says August. In August, I'm going to go ahead and put the name of where I work. So my name is already up here because I put it on that first page. Under work site right there in cell E2, I am going to type where I work. I work at ABC Company. So I type in ABC Company, hit enter, and it is in there. I told you I was only getting out one block. So I'm going to go back to overall. One block, I work 125 hours. That's how many I have to have worked by December. So I go back to August, and in this where it says semester hours needed, I put 125. If you work 2 blocks, you need to put in the other number. If you get out 2 blocks, you need to put 169. If you work 3 blocks, you put 301. I'm only working one block, so I put 125. Hit enter. Then I go down here to this one and I say I'm only getting out one block. 125 for one block. The other number for 2 blocks. The other number for 3 blocks. Everybody understand that? Now it says this month I have to work 27 hours. I have not worked any hours. That's why it's in red. I have not worked any hours this year, and I have not made any pay this year. And here is my monthly pay. So now I'm going to pretend like I did not start working until the first day of school. Our first day of school was supposed to be on Wednesday, and I was supposed to go in at 8 a.m. and I got off at 11:15. I was scheduled to work till 11:30, but I got off at 11:15 because they told me I could go home early. But I have to put AM and PM. Okay, so that's where I worked. I worked from AM 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. When I hit tab, it automatically does the math right here. I worked 3 hours and 15 minutes at $10 an hour, and I made $32.50. Now I did not work the first through the sixth, so I've got to put DNW. DNW means did not work. When I hit DNW, it does a green box. I did not work all of these days, so if I take this blue dot right here and drag it down, I did not work those days. So every single line is either going to have a DNW or time that I worked. Okay, on Thursday is when I started school. So I went to school until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I went to work at 1:30. So I'm going to say I went to work at 1:30 a.m. or p.m. It's after lunch. It is p.m. So I'm going to put p.m. I was scheduled to get off at 7 o'clock, but they let me go home at 3:30 to get lunch. So I got there and I worked till 3:30 p.m. But they wanted me to go back to work at 4. So I only had 30 minutes for lunch. So I went to 4 p.m. and I got off at 8:30 p.m. So if I did a swing shift, that means I did two different jobs. I went in at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, got off at 3:30, went back at 4, got off at 8. As you see, the first time I go in are in these two columns. The second time I go in on the same date are in these columns. If I don't go in a separate time 2 times, then everything's on the left side. Doesn't matter if it's in the morning or in the afternoon. This is the first time I go in. This is only if I go back in after I've gotten off. So all those hours are in there. Now notice this does not say 1:30 p.m. It says 13:30 p.m. It turns it to military time. Military time adds 12 hours to it. That's just the way it works, but you've got to put in the AM and PM. So if you don't know what you put in, you can go up here to the number bar. This is called the formula bar up here above the word August, and it'll say 1:30 p.m. Click on that one. It says 3:30 p.m. But you got to make sure it says AM and PM. All right. The next day, I went in at 1:30, but I forget to put the PM. Okay. I'm going to pretend like I forget to put PM. Look at the difference in the two. This one says 13:30. This one says 1:30. But this says AM. And if I said I got off at 3:30 p.m. and I type PM, notice how this turns red. What that is saying is that I worked 14 hours. I know I did not work 14 hours that day because I was at school. I did not go in at 1:30 a.m., which is in the middle of the night. So I knew something was wrong. That's what the red is for. Now, some people work over 8 hours a day because if you work on a Saturday and you're a farmer, you're going to work over 12 hours a day. It's okay to be in the red, but it's just a catch-all to let you see that you probably put in the wrong numbers. So if I had to fix this, I could go back up here and make that PM, and now it's correct and the red goes away. So every line is either going to have a DNW or times. So I'm going to go in and say I worked at 8:30 a.m., got off at 9:45 a.m., only worked an hour and 15 minutes that day, etc., etc., etc. Every day is going to have something all the way through the end of the month. So I'm going to pretend like that's what I worked all the way to the end of the month. And I didn't work any more days. They were all DNWs. So I didn't work but those 4 days. Okay? Now looking up here at the top, I was supposed to work 27 hours. Up here at the top, I was supposed to work 27 hours. But I didn't. I'm short. I'm short 14 hours because if you add these up, I only worked 13 hours. So now what I would have to do is on the assignment, I'd have to say, why didn't I make the hours I was supposed to? Some of y'all, you could say, I was in the hospital, I wasn't able to work, or we had holidays that day, a tornado came through and we were out of school 5 days and I work at the schools, whatever it is, you would write that in the comments. And we'll go over that in just a minute. But now if I go back to the overall page, you will see my numbers are adding up here. It says I worked 13 hours, because there it is, 13 hours. My monthly hours is 13 hours. My monthly pay is $130 because I get paid $10 an hour. And I go back to overall, and I have 13 hours, and I made 130 hours. Does that make sense? All right, if it does not, you can let me know. But let me show you this. If I change this pay rate right here, because on August, let's see, what day did I work? August 16th. Well, on August 10th, I got a pay raise, and now I'm making $15 an hour. All I had to do is type it up here that I got a pay raise. And over here, my pay changed. If I go back to August, I'm making $10 an hour until the 12th, and now I'm making $15 an hour. So you do the math. All you have to do on this page right here is type in your times from here on out. So next month, you'll put it in the month of September. The next month, you'll put it in the month of October. The next month, you'll put it in the month of November. That's how you work it. Now, if you work for the school system, only work for the school system, nobody else has to pay attention to this. But if you work for the school system, you have to turn in this pay stub, the month of August. You have to turn it in on a particular date halfway through the month. That's how you get paid. You will turn it in to Miss Regina, to your mentor at your school. You need to find out who it is at the school that you turn it into, because you will print this out. When I hit Control P, you can see there's the times, and down here at the bottom it says employer signature and student signature. Everybody will get this printed out. But if you work for the schools, and only the people who work for the schools, you will have to print out something else to get your pay. So I'm going to hit cancel. For the month of August, I need to turn in over here on the right hand side. If I click on this, I can see all the months. Right here on the left, I can see all the months. But for the school system, and only the school system, on August 15th, I have to turn in my first pay stub. That means I have to turn in my first time card to the person in payroll over in the Board of Education. So I would click on August 15th. It's going to take me to this sheet, and on this sheet, those times I typed in earlier are automatically going to show up here. You will print this out. You will get your employer to sign it, your mentor at your work site. She will sign this, he will sign this, whoever it is. This is stating how many hours you work. They will send it to Regina Surrency, who is the one that's going to pay you for the school system, and this is what you would turn in. Okay? But only the people in the school system have to worry about these tabs over here in the black. So only the school system worry about these. Everybody else, you're worrying about these. So if by chance you're in August and number signs show up here, just come see me. And what I mean by number signs is, like, if I put a word in there, it's going to say, wait, you can't do that. I don't know. If anything shows up where you're not typing right and something's wrong and the math is not working, you just come to me, let me know, and I can fix your time card. But this is the assignment that you will do every single month, called time cards. Okay? Time cards. Next month, you will have one that says time card, and then you will have signed time card. And I will talk about that next month. This month, you're just putting in the times. Next month, you will actually have to get it signed, upload it, and put it back. But what you will be, everybody in here will do, is you will get this time card that says August, print it out, and I'll print it for you. All you have to do is email, and I'll print it out, and then you get this signed for the second assignment. The first one tells me what hours you work. The second one confirms you work those hours because your employer signed off saying you work those hours. Okay? Again, I will explain this better in class, but I want you to have this just in case you get home and you're like, oh, wait, I don't remember what she said, and you can look at this video and see what it is. You're only going to change on the main page. You're only going to change if you get a pay raise, And then the rest of the time, you're going to be putting in your hours working, put your hours worked, or put DNW if you do not. Okay? So, if you have any questions, holler at me. Stop by my office. I'll be glad to help you on any of this.